It is time. It is time to brew your best beer. The 2015 SJPORR Challenge is brought to you by the Grainbill Homebrew Supply, located in Red Lion, Pennsylvania. Brewers Exchange, operating in the U.S. and Canada. Finney's Homebrew Emporium, located in Bishopdale, Christchurch, New Zealand. And Omega Yeast, located in Chicago, Illinois.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back for another beer review in the 2015 SJPORR Challenge. One thing I'd like to say before we get started, this has been really challenging here in the Midwest.
It has.
I mean extremely challenging.
There are way too many really good beers.
Yeah.
And I think that it's hard.
It's going to be a tight race. I'm saying. I think they're all gunning for me. What do you think, Elder?
I think so. Oh my.
This next beer is from
AD3-731-62F.
Like he said.
Yeah.
And it is a chocolate oatmeal stout rocking in at 9.5% ABV. Let's get into it.
Let's do it. The dark side.
The dark side.
It's a chocolate oatmeal stout brewed with local chocolate and nibs.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what that means, local chocolatier and nibs.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
It's
I like it.
2-row chocolate malt, black malt, crystal 80, flaked oats, and rolled barley. Oh, roasted barley. I'm sorry.
Cascade and Saaz were the hops. SO4 was the yeast, and it's got cacao nibs, chocolate, and honey. And this is a 9.5% oatmeal stout. That's massive.
That sounds wonderful.
Right up your alley, isn't it, Ellie?
It is. I really like these. So I'm going to pop this sucker.
I'm going to use a pencil.
I'm using a screwdriver.
That's right. No smoke on mine, but a nice, healthy pop.
Oh, I got some smoke. A little bit.
Oh, you really didn't?
Nah.
Oh, it's still in there.
It's still in there. It's hanging.
It's still in there.
It's hanging. It's heavy smoke.
Let's get a
because
pour.
it's... Yeah, look at... Oh, gosh.
It's pouring like motor oil, boys.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that's a very aggressive pour right there. I'm going to slow my roll a little bit.
I went for it.
Oh, man, oh, man.
I went for it. And it
A nice
is
18 finger
very-
head.
Well,
Was yours an 18 finger?
no, I wasn't as aggressive.
Nice.
But boy, oh boy, does it look good. Hey, you
It
got
looks-
more beer in your 12-ouncer.
It looks like it might be.
How'd you do that? How'd you get...
Oh, it's still pouring crystal clear. I think this is keg.
It's
Oh, it's definitely bottled off the
definitely
keg.
bottled off the keg.
Look at that. Oh, man. Wow.
That's pretty.
That's very dark.
And it's got a light bulb in it.
There is absolutely nothing coming through
Now,
this.
there's a goose in mine. You see that?
Your goose is cooked, Elder.
Oh, man.
There is like zero light coming through this thing. And that's trying. Extremely dark.
Wow.
You already smell it?
Yeah, I took a little whiff.
Oh, lordy.
This has got
Wow.
some real rich, dark, roasty smells.
And I'm getting big chocolate too.
Yeah.
The cacao nibs on this are just pungent. Smells just off the hook. Look at that, head's not going anywhere.
I wonder where this chocolatier is parked. Where he's got his business.
Oh my gosh.
That's a good smelling chocolate.
Wherever it is, I want to move to that region. So it's listed as an oatmeal stout.
Okay,
A little roast is coming through now.
let's
a
get
little
a
more.
taste and see what we
Let's
think.
dive
here.
in on that.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
That is different than the aroma.
Yes, it is.
A
There's
lot
almost
more,
an oaky kind of...
a lot more roast to it. I'm almost getting like an oak character to it. There's a bit of a bitter bite to it.
Yeah,
I'm not sure if that's from the Cascade.
could be. Wow.
Might be
Good.
might be between the black malt and the roasted barley. I get that sometimes on beers we've made.
It's got a thinner mouthfeel than I thought it would have.
Mm-hmm.
Not
Quite a bit thinner than what I would think.
Not to a porter standpoint yet, but it is still a stout, but it is thinner than I had expected it to be.
Something I'm getting.
But
off-
it does have the creaminess from the oatmeal. I mean, it's picking
Yeah,
up
you're
that
getting that
creamy
cream, but it's still pretty thin.
Mm-hmm.
And that might have been where he picked up some ABV, is that maybe this thing finished lower on the gravity.
Yeah.
Without, it didn't leave a whole lot of residual.
Well,
Sweetness.
it takes...
Might have been mashed a little bit lower in temp to kind of help pull that out. But with all those dark grains, especially grains,
To hit 9.5, though, you do
have to have that.
give something
Yeah.
up in that regard.
Oh, not necessarily.
But, I'm not picking up any hot alcohol flavor
Yeah.
or taste or anything. Or aroma.
I am not getting 9.5 on this.
No.
As far as the
No,
the
this is
experience
a
in the
good
mouth.
solid 8%.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the way it tastes.
Let's take a minute and
Mhm.
dive into the score sheets and
And look at it.
come
and,
back at you.
Yeah. And let it warm up a
Let it
little
warm
bit,
up.
too, because I think the warmth is going to probably bring out a lot more
Something that I'm
flavor
getting,
to it.
just right quick before we break, is raspberry, and I'm not sure where or how, but I'm getting a raspberry character
Mm.
right in the middle of the.
Yeah, I am, too.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if it's from the honey.
Mhm.
I'm picking up a sweetness.
Yeah, that might be it. It's like a very raspberry character that I wouldn't
The
really
mix-
expect with
The
any
mix
of these
of the
ingredients.
chocolate and the honey together
Mhm.
maybe is possibly pulling that
We're
flavor
gonna,
out.
We're gonna take a minute. We'll be back.
Yeah.
Hey, we're back.
Yes.
You can hear the.
Pitter patter of clomping feet.
I think it's actually a herd
Work
of
boots.
wild. A herd of wild work boots.
Yeah.
You can hear the noises upstairs. That means it's time for us to get out of the basement.
Yeah.
So we're gonna wrap up this beer review. We've got some more thoughts on it. Spent some more time with it. Let it warm up. Okay, so you wanna start?
Yeah. As this beer warmed, I picked up more alcohol on the nose. And as in the aroma, so followed the taste. It just is a little hotter in the taste. I think that the 9.5 is really showing its presence as it warmed. It's thinner than I thought it would be with oatmeal in it, but
Yep.
the appearance is just so beautiful. It's such a nice looking beer. It's a good beer, but it's not a great beer. Is that?
Yeah, it's good. Here's where I am with this.
Am I off?
No, I
on
think
that?
I think you're
Oh.
you're all right. Where I am with this beer is, I'm not getting a whole lot of alcohol. I'm not getting that 9.5. What I'm getting is a lot of clashing flavors and ingredients. I think you had a good, solid concept. I just think it's got too much going on to it.
Maybe that's what I'm picking up instead. It's because it's.
Let me. Yeah.
Continue
Let me finish up my thought here. So, first of all, the Cascade and the Saaz. I don't know if I would ever pair those two hops together. Cascade's very grapefruit, very citrus, and Saaz is very noble, and it's got that very light, just beautiful hop aroma that you would use in a pilsner or a lager. Something that you want to, very delicate. Where you have a real simple malt base and you want just a touch of hops that makes it's hops. I think when I think of Saaz, I think of pilsner or Kel. And so that's where I would put Saaz. You know, maybe in a really clean, simple saison. You know, saison's not necessarily clean, but that's where I would put it. Then you've got this big blast of dark roasted malts, which doesn't really fit with those hop notes. And then the English yeast that gives this fruity ester that I think might come from a high fermentation temperature. I don't know what your brew setup is, so I can't tell you. But what I'm getting is it almost feels like, or almost tastes and smells like it was fermented high, which would lend itself to a higher alcohol by finishing drier, finishing at a lower gravity. So even if you started at, say, 1080, you could finish down in the 1008, 6 range and get to that 9.5%, you know. I don't know, there's a lot of clashing action going on for me here, and the beer's kind of confusing. And then there's honey in it. So the honey comes in and plays this weird, almost like back sweetening role. Mm-hmm. And I'm sorry to ramble, but I've got a lot happening.
I'm picking up what you're saying there. I understand now. That's probably what I'm experiencing and misreading it in alcoholic, the heat from alcohol, because I think that it's not really hot. It's not that at all. I think it's just this conflict that I'm experiencing that you just described. It does make a lot of sense.
Before we cut, I mentioned raspberry.
Yes.
And now, you know, when I had some time to sit with it and let it warm up and let it kind of digest a little bit, I'm still getting that, even as it warms, but I'm able to kind of discern it more. It's roast and chocolate and fruity English esters and grapefruity hops. And all these flavors come together, and they just...
you got a little bit of honey, too.
Kind of... yeah. That sweetness, that back sweetening. And it kind of... to me, it just kind of... They just don't play nice together. So as cool of a concept as it is, and as fun of a beer as it is to kind of sit and dissect, it just doesn't... I don't know. It's odd. I mean, it's just not really doing it for me. It's not terrible, and
I'm enjoying this beer.
I'm enjoying it too because it's making me think, and that's the whole point of this challenge.
It's really very complex. It's not that the tastes and the aromas are marrying together very well, or blending. You know,
I think that's
matching.
Yeah.
That's, I think, where what your description was. I think that really does make a lot of sense. It puts it all together for me in tasting this beer now. I'm picking that up.
Gorgeous looking beer though.
It's a
poured.
This got high marks on its appearance for sure.
Yeah, my head died down. Okay.
But look at that.
But the way that it poured,
the legs on this,
it poured like it was motor oil. Yeah. I mean, really, it was
so
it was
dark.
thick.
It's beautiful.
But then you drink it and it's thin. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, it does have a thin.
It just has
mouthfeel.
It just kind of thins out. And there's a lot of English yeast esters. I'll get it out there. Coming off of this, and that's also contributing to that clashing flavors, like I mentioned. So, yeah.
I would drink this again.
I would drink it again, and I would let this thing age. I would let this thing age. I think that is really
the key to this beer.
Yeah.
I think this is just too fresh.
9.5%. I think we're just too fresh.
And it's perfect for cellar.
And you might have thrown this beer might be 6 months old already.
I don't know when you brewed this, but
I think
it would lend itself very well
3-4 years
or 3. Yeah.
3 years in, this beer is probably going to be ridiculous.
When we did the chocolate that after my father passed,
Grandpa's triple chocolate.
That is just starting to hit its strides now, and that's almost 2 years.
Yeah, almost.
And I've got several beers still left.
We're at 18 minutes.
Yeah. Well, it's gonna be cut.
We can cut off the grandpa's part. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
So, thank you for your entry. This beer really made us think. We had to put some extra time in on it. Hope you guys don't mind the long review.
yeah.
Cheers, Elder.
Cheers.
Cheers to the brewer,
Good luck to
Mr. AD3-731-62F. Good luck, man.
Good stuff.
Cheers to you.
Yeah.
Thanks for getting in the challenge.
Give it some age. That's
Yeah.
good.
Cool stuff. Cheers.